This is Smithy.tv.
You forgot your tux. I thought one of us is gonna wear a tux.
Says the guy in the checkered shirt.
That's because I thought you were gonna wear the tux. And
Well, I
was gonna
wanted to wear a suit, but you said you were going to wear something, so I chose.
we decided to wear what we wore last time.
That's right.
Okay.
I wore the same thing I wore last
Why
week.
would we need to wear a tux?
Well, because the Oscars are coming.
That's true.
That is true. It's
Hollywood's biggest night of the
well,
year.
it's award
the Super Bowl.
season. It is. It's award season. The Golden Globes have happened already, and now it's leading up to the Oscars.
This is the road to WrestleMania, but to the Oscars.
That's right. The
That's
actors
for
are putting on their belts and going, "Oh yeah,
And
I'm
who's
going to win
gonna-
me an Oscar." Yeah.
And who's gonna win the Oscar for the heavyweight championship?
You didn't see this because there's a thing in front of my belly.
But we're still talking Oscars.
They're still talking Oscars.
So Oscars 2015, we got some cool movies
Some
nominations.
pretty great movies nominated, and in such a wide variety of style too, right? I mean, you go from history to, how many of them are based on true
How many of them
stories?
are white movies? Yes.
White movies?
Very
Well,
much
there's
so.
one non-white.
Yeah. Very good movie. There's a variety of performances and movies up for stuff. There's some good songs too. There's a lot of stuff. Who do you think will win for Best Actor?
Well, Best Actor, the nominees are pretty stellar, even though they're
Even the ones who have no chance. Like
That's
it's
right.
a good year. There's like performances that didn't get this year that were
I
like.
mean, the actor who's playing Stephen Hawking is likely going to be a front runner in this race because talk about a performance of a guy who's able, who's going to portray the decline of your ability to, not to say that it hasn't happened in the past, but it is a pretty spectacular in The Theory of Everything.
Eddie Redmayne in The Theory of Everything. The thing is, I love Steve Carell. I wasn't a big fan of Foxcaster, but it was cool to see
But it's
what he did.
a performance, right? You're talking about the best in performance, and even though his style is Steve Carell, this is a different role.
And the thing is, it's really good, and so I was really rooting for him, and I even like David Oyelowo. I can't say his name, but from Selma. But the thing is, when you see Theory of Everything, and I like Michael Keaton, and I've seen Birdman too, but when you see a Theory of Everything, whether you like it as a movie or not, that performance, I don't think they can't not give it to him.
That's right.
I think he's
like
going to
Benedict
win
Cumberbatch is amazing in Imitation Game, but
Just wrong year. The wrong year.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
agree.
man.
He's. I'd still sleep with you. And I'm not even kidding.
And speaking of
But I
sleeping,
would.
speaking of sleeping with, who do you think will? This is a terrible segue. Who do you think will win? I
Best
apologize.
actress.
Best actress. That's not sexist at all.
Not at all.
He didn't say it. I did. You can be mad at me. Tweet me right there. Who do you think? I think it's kind of obvious who's going to win. So to go over the nominees, I think there's a lot of great performances, but I think you got to go with Julianne Moore. Still Alice. And I can pretend I saw the movie. That's one of the few movies I didn't see this year of Oscars.
Right.
But I've heard she's nothing but incredible.
And that's the problem, right? I mean, you're fighting against reputation. Not even reputation. It's like locomotion, right? It's like once it's in motion, that's what people are talking about, and suddenly the people who are talking about it, that's who's voting for it.
Yes.
I mean, there are surprises here and there. The Academy are made up of your peers, and therefore you have other actors and producers and directors voting for you.
Yes.
But it's all about getting your word out there.
And the thing is, like, it's the performance she gives apparently is great, and also the performances she's done over the years also helps. It's the same thing with Michael Keaton. Unfortunately, it's the wrong year, I think, because of the Stephen Hawking thing.
There are surprises every once in a while where they sort of get together and they say, hey, you know what? We're tired of it's like we're just going to make a decision. We're going to it's almost like collusion, right? It's like you don't want to admit or accuse them of collusion, but occasionally
And
things happen.
the main thing I always tell people is these are not facts; these are opinions from a select group of people.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, like movies that make more money may not be nominated for anything, but
So Best Picture, for instance, I mean, Eddie Redmayne might be probably the best actor, but Theory of Everything is probably not Best Picture.
I was surprised it even got nominated for Best Picture. It was a good movie, but it wasn't great. But it
Does
was a
Selma win
performance
for
movie.
political reasons?
Now here's the thing:
For everyone who's toting on this very, very white.
it's out there. Like
It is. It is like there are no people of color nominated for any of the acting categories.
It
right?
would have been
So-
the first year ever in the director category had she been nominated, the director of Selma, the first ever African American female director nominated. So there's people upset about that. There's people upset about the guy who played Martin Luther King, not being nominated. So for Best Picture, which is like anyone who's out there doing their ballots, just to quickly say, for supporting actor, I think J.K. Simmons is your bet, and I think for supporting actress, Patricia Arquette for Boyhood is your bet. To go to Best Picture, which is the one you got to really look at, this could be the difference between you winning your pool or not.
Do you look at Selma as being an upset because people want to feel like they've made the right choice?
That's one of the options. Is remember the year Argo won?
That's
Ben
right.
Affleck
Ben Affleck should have won for acting because it's such a great performance, or directing.
I'd say directing.
Directing
yes.
more so, and then of course it wins Best Picture because he wasn't nominated for director.
He wasn't, and that's the thing is there was sort of I think that was the year where like Silver Linings and a couple other really good movies. But when you add that and people going, I like this movie, I like this kid,
that's right.
And you know what, against the system. So there's a small chance that Selma could take it because it's a good movie.
Steve McQueen with 12 Years a Slave too, right?
Yeah, and that's where some people are saying, oh, like, and I hate that's a thing going like, well, if it was nominated that year, you got that last year. Like, no, I think every year is different. And
every year is a new ball game,
and so like, and I'm glad it's nominated for Best Picture. It's one of the eight or nine movies nominated. It's a good movie. I don't think it's the one if you want to put money on that will win you money. There's people talking about Birdman. I don't think that's the right call either. Grand Budapest Hotel did win a Golden Globe. Unfortunately, Golden Globes are not the standard anymore to look at.
No, and there's also multiple categories, so it's like you're fighting against comedy versus drama. And
but art direction, it could win some stuff.
Absolutely, and I'm a big fan of that film, but I also don't think that it's going to win.
Out of all the movies I had, the only one I haven't seen is Boyhood. The one I would like to win would be either Selma, Whiplash, or Imitation Game. I do believe that
Boyhood has a film 12 years in the making going for it, right? I mean, like.
But the question you have to ask is, if you take away that technology and that method of doing 12 years, is that movie great?
But that's what you're winning for, right? You're winning for filmmaking.
Yes. So that and as a filmmaker, you have to respect that.
As a director.
And the other wild card is just because it's made so much money. American Sniper, can that pull off a thing? It's Clint Eastwood's maybe one of his last movies. It's a pretty well made movie. But I think at the end of the day, right now, if I were to pick, I haven't seen. It's the one movie I haven't seen, and I'd pick Boyhood just for the track record. There's some really. It's one of those years where there's no definite movie. Where like last year, Gravity was such a great epic blockbuster, and 12 Years a Slave it's a hard movie to watch, but it was so well made.
That's right.
Those were the two front runners, and I'm glad 12 Years won. It was a very well made movie, acted movie. But this year, there's so many wild cards that this is the hardest year to probably pick Best Picture. I do think the track record in the 12 years of making it, not 12 Years a Slave, will make Boyhood the winner. So that's my pick.
Send us your picks. Hashtag those guys that show. And who do you think is going to win? Oscars 2015.
And also, lastly, how do you think Neil Patrick Harris is going to do as a host?
I think he's going to be great. I think that.
I hope he doesn't do too many songs. That's my only thing.
You know what though? But that's always been, and not always been, but for the last few decades, there's always been a host every once in a while that comes out. Billy Crystal made it great. Coming out and singing the intros. When Hugh Jackman hosted, he did such a terrific job. I think Neil Patrick Harris comes out and does a spectacular opening.
How do you think he'll do? And who wins Best Picture, Best Actor, Actress?
Send it to @TV Smithy and the Lindsay Lewis.
See you on Oscar night. I'll wear a suit next time.